There's a lot of sheep in Ireland.
And in the Northwest, there are more sheep than people. In fact, a traffic jam in these parts consists mainly of sheep. There's more to Ireland's northwest corner than sheep alone. Famine history runs deep here, and one of the main geographical features, Croagh Patrick, is a major pilgrimage point for the whole country. But the most interesting part of this region is its time capsule effect. Much of the land seems untouched by modern life. Tractors still run down country roads, and everyone still has a warm hello for a traveler. We're going to explore it all in Travel. Who says it can't be done with the kids? Well, many have, and we're here to prove otherwise. Here's our story.
Sometime after college and before being grown-ups, we, that's me,
And that's me.
left it all behind for 1 year to see the world. With a one-way ticket in hand, we had a grand adventure across 35 countries.
Fast forward 5 years, a house payment, real jobs, and a different sort of adventure called parenthood. With these guys,
That's me. I'm Nathan and I'm 7. That's me. I'm Janice and I'm 5.
Now we're off again to share our adventures with you as we discover the wonders of the world, the wonders of nature, the wonders of parenthood, and sometimes wonder, what were we thinking in Travel with Kids? Ireland has long been a haven of history and culture for travelers from all over the world. People come to dance to traditional music, listen to the lilt of the locals as they tell one of their famously good tales at the local pub, and experience the most amazing vistas of the Emerald Isle. Rolling sheep-dotted hills, rock walls cutting through green fields for miles, and farmers moving cartloads of hay down a country road. But there's one more thing many people come to Ireland for, to trace their family roots. And my family happens to come from this region. So join us in this episode of Travel with Kids as we climb up the O'Malley family tree.
My great-great-great-grandmother lived here, Grace O'Malley.
Learn to dance a jig, and bring history to life with the high-energy imagination of two boys.
We found your hideout.
Plus, we'll try to discover a few animals other than sheep
Huge.
and find out what's gotten into Seamus here.
we're visiting County Mayo on the northern part of Ireland's Atlantic coast. Due to its historical poverty, the area was pretty much left alone by invaders and has not had the tourism development that has left other parts of Ireland feeling less than authentic in places. Mayo is what it is. Its lack of development is exactly its draw. Things look pretty much the way they did centuries ago. Stone houses with lines drying laundry, sheep trotting down narrow lanes. To get to Mayo, visitors have two main options: fly into Dublin or Shannon. From Dublin, it's pretty much a straight shot across the island by car or train. And from Shannon, it's a sometimes windy, narrow road up the Atlantic coast through amazing scenery. As we just finished exploring nearby County Clare, we opt for the Atlantic route.
The first leg of our journey takes us through Galway and across the Connemara, one of Ireland's most famous national parks. Huge expanses of bumpy green bogs are dotted with silvery craggles of rock. To our west are the Mounturk Mountains, which give way to the plains and jagged coast of the Atlantic. This is an area famous for its rich history of music and small traditional villages. Just before Leenane, the road narrows and the rock walls run so steeply up the sides of the mountains, it seems sure they'll just topple right down. Sheep roam through green fields here and, hey, get out of the road!
2 of them. But one of them was running way faster.
They rule the road here, trotting up and down the gray rivers of pavement and stone, and the kids have fun pointing out all the furry residents.
Oh, there's one. a lamb.
and actually come up with a game that helps with their math skills.
What does 5 plus 5 equal? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
And it puts them to sleep. You can't count sheep and expect to stay awake, can you?
After a quick sheep nap, we arrive in the town of Linane, what I like to call a one-pub village. Linane has a stunning setting on the shores of a very narrow and steep Killary Harbor. There's a small lodge, a few shops and restaurants, and you guessed it, a pub.
We follow the road out of Linane and along the shores of the harbor until it's time for a sheep break. Chatting with the locals is part of traveling, right? Well, the kids take this to a whole new level.
Meh. 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 Ba. Sheep. Ba. Ba.
Oh, I see. Well, the kids insist the sheep have invited them to dance. So here goes.
You see sheep while you're driving around. You don't usually see tons of sheep together and baby lambs drinking mom's milk and all that. They back.
After our dance by the road break, we continue down the road through the Duloc Valley. Narrow roads meandering over old stone bridges that still cross creeks, reflecting the whole scene.
If lakes are shallow enough, you can sometimes maybe see sheeps in the lake drinking some water or drinking some water from the land.
The Duloc Valley definitely takes the potato cake as one of the best drives in Ireland. But this valley has not always been home to just beauty. In the late 1800s, potato, a crop heavily relied on for the already impoverished Irish, was wiped out because of disease, leaving hundreds of thousands of people with no food source. A monument to these poor, starving people and the many people who still suffer around the world today is marked by a cross on the side of the road here. An eroding stone cross with a backdrop of a misty valley and the dark waters of Duloc.
Just north of here at the base of Croagh Patrick, there's another memorial, the National Famine Memorial. The metal sculpture depicts a coffin ship, so called because of the many people who fled Ireland during the potato famine.
I see the red pages. Are all these jumping off the ship?
And up above the monument looms Croagh Patrick. According to legend, this is the site where St. Patrick banned serpents from all of Ireland. On the last Sunday in July, people come from all over Ireland to climb the mountain as an act of penance.
As we round the bay, we enter Westport, one of Ireland's most scenic towns. A couple of main boulevards lined with quaint and colorful shops and pubs intersects with a riverfront area. The streets are filled with pedestrians out for an afternoon stroll, and the atmosphere is very festive. But I have an ulterior motive for wanting to get to Westport. The Clew Bay Heritage Center has a small collection of local history and offers a genealogical service. Because of the diaspora of Irish people during the potato famine, people from around the world can trace their ancestry back here. With a little work before your trip, you can find out more about your ancestors and where you're from. We've traced our family tree back as far as 1825 to this part of Ireland. But to my dismay, the Heritage Center is closed for the bank holiday weekend.
Alright, we need to scope out O'Malley's now.
But we don't have to look too far. One of the first signs we see is for O'Malley's restaurant. So we stop for a bite to eat and some sleuthing. Seamus finds his own sign.
Seamus. There's Seamus.
We're told we came to the right place. This is O'Malley country. And in fact, many of our ancestors' castles are just nearby. We'll have to check it out tomorrow. But tonight it's getting late, and we want to check into our B&B before nightfall.
We're staying just outside Westport at Sea Point House. Little islands in the bay barely break the surface and have their own little bit of green heaven. Sheep roam across each of the little islands. I'm not really sure how they got there. At the door, we're greeted by the family and a nice surprise. Isn't that the O'Malley crest?
That's right. The owners of the bed and breakfast not only have 2 wonderful children for our kids to play with, but they are also O'Malleys. So somewhere back in the mix of clans, we're related. The farmhouse makes a nice retreat for the kids. The rugged shoreline has little animals to discover.
That's flat. Huge. I spotted it. Open shut. I'm gonna grab you. I'm gonna grab you.
And lots of rocks for throwing. And the owner tells us all the best places to hunt down information on the O'Malleys. The owners of our B&B point out an island in the middle of the bay known as Clare Island, but called O'Malley Island by many locals, and tell us about a castle up the road and a museum in town, and we come up with a plan for exploring it all. Tomorrow, though, now it's time for the first B, bed.
Today we're going to head up the road to the castle of Grace O'Malley. We know Carrie's family is linked to this legendary figure somehow, so we thought her castle would be a good place to start looking for clues. The kids are instantly impressed by the castle. Although it's not a traditional castle in the sense of soaring turrets and ramparts, it does have one craggy stone structure rising boldly from the green plains. And it's surrounded by 3 sides by water.
My great-great-great-grandmother lived here, Grace O'Malley. It's the great-great-great-great-great-great. The last name is O'Malley.
And Carrie tells them the story of their grandma.
It's a long, long time ago.
Grace O'Malley was the first female pirate. She was born in the early 1500s to a chieftain in the O'Malley clan. During this time, girls were meant to learn the ways of the home and become ladies, and men were to fight the battles. But Grania, that was her Irish name, had other ideas. As a teenager, she cut off all her hair, dressed in boys' clothes, and jumped ship aboard her father's fleet. He admired her spirit and taught her the ways of the water, and she earned the name Pirate Queen. Grace acquired the castle we're visiting today when she married her second husband, Richard.
Some people think she went up there looking at boats coming down, everyone getting in their boats and sailing off to fight a battle with the English.
And in fact, it was the English that finally gave her a run for her money.
So the bad guys fall and go like, ah.
An English governor sent to rule Connaught tried desperately to stop the Pirate Queen, but she decided to go straight to the source with a visit to Queen Elizabeth I, who sent word for the governor to leave her alone. It seems these 2 ladies were kindred spirits, and so she lived her life out in Clew Bay on the decks of pirate boats, galloping through the countryside on horseback, hacking it out in sword fights, and living life on her terms.
The boys are fascinated by their bold grandma and want to take a look around her house. Our friends back at the B&B told us that if the castle was locked, just to knock at the house next door for the key. Kind of the way things are done here out in rural Ireland. But luckily the door is open today, and we go in.
Hey, look, guys, stairs. Wonder what's up here. On the 2nd level, a small room looks like it may have been a sleeping area, but the stairs keep going. On the 3rd level, square windows frame a beautiful picture of the bay. Pirates are coming? What? But there are no cannons here, and no information other than what we can dream up. So if we're going to find information on the family, it looks like we'll have to hunt elsewhere.
Back in town, we head out for some family fun and a visit to the Westport house. An 18th century grand house built on the site of you guessed it, an O'Malley castle. It's a great place to get a bit of Irish history along with a fun amusement park. The gardens have huge fun slides, trains, and boat rides that are fun for kids, and inside the house there's a big museum.
Just outside the house is a statue of Grace O'Malley, which the kids find amusing. The museum has lots of information, and traces Grania's family down through several generations. But I still have about a 200-year gap to fill in where their tree ends and mine begins. So tomorrow we'll head over to Lewisburg to see what we can find out there.
Today we're heading back down to the south side of Clue Bay to catch a ferry to Clare Island. We're going to stop in Lewisburg along the way to see if we can't find some marriage documents for Carrie's great-great-grandparents in the church there. But first, the second B, breakfast.
Cornflakes with raisins.
Yeah, that's called raisin bread in Italian.
This is?
And some playtime with the O'Malley kids. It's always good to give the kids just some regular downtime like they'd have at home.
Yeah, we want to play with some toys. Oh, there's even a puzzle in the top. Like, shake it up. Hey, what do you got? Hey, gosh, look what happened when I flipped the page over.
And they even take the boys down to the barn to meet their soon-to-be mother cow.
She's literally 2 days from calving now.
2 days? Yeah, really?
Yeah.
How are you going to fit inside the door to the back?
Before I left, I did a little bit of research online about my family history. I found out that my great-great-great-grandparents were married, probably in the church in Lewisburg, before they left for the States. So this morning we're going to try the church there to see if we can get a copy of the certificate. This may be the leap I need to link us to older relatives here in Ireland. Oh, but that Irish luck just isn't with us today. That bank holiday is getting in my way again. The church and the museum are closed, and the ferry doesn't leave for another hour. It's really important to be flexible, especially when you're traveling with kids. And sometimes the best experiences are those you don't plan for.
The boys find a park with a river perfect for throwing rocks.
It's fun to play in the park and throw rocks in the lakes. Find things like crabs. Worms under the rocks.
While Carrie hits the store to stock up on snacks for the ferry boat ride. We've heard Clare Island is pretty rural, so we decided to bring our own provisions.
There is a traditional music session starting right now in the local pub. The boys enjoy the music, dancing by the cozy fireplace and chatting with some local girls. But all too soon, it's time to go.
Here I come, Bruce O'Malley!
It was great to be a part of the very authentic scene in the pub. Families gathering for an afternoon of entertainment in traditional style. Musicians to entertain in an old world scenario. Okay, and a few kids with Game Boys snuck in too. It seems our luck is turning. We get to the docks just in time. You can buy your tickets at the dock before the ferry leaves.
It'll be okay. You can come back out again at 5. So, I'd rather you going over. That's the next one back, yeah.
So we board the boat, ironically enough called the O'Malley Ferries.
Is it going?
And the kids instantly vie for chief of the clan.
We're going! I'm the king of the world! I really am!
Maybe our luck is changing. And judging from the look of the sky, I certainly hope so.
Sit right back in here, a tail of a tiny ship.
From the top.
Uh-oh, gonna get us started the engines.
And Nathan instantly hands over his chiefly duties. Or is that called delegating?
This doesn't steer very well.
What do you see?
Oh, I turned the boat right to the wall is.
Tosses and turns in the rough Atlantic waters, the boys hand over controls to the real captain. So much for our pirate kings. Out the porthole, I can just make out the thin outline of Clare Island fading in and out of the mist. This looks like a great place for a pirate hangout. It's weird to think how many of my ancestors have looked on this view before. The green hills fading in and out of view behind a thick shroud of mist as their boat slides into the dark waters of the harbor here. I wonder what Grace thought when she first came upon this site.
At the end of the dock, the kids are keen to run around on a wide stretch of beach near an old fishing boat laying on its side.
Mother Jane! It went right from my shield. Right through my
They even seem to appreciate the family history here.
Brother, can I share your land? No, it's dying. No, but you have more land than me. Look at all that. This is where Grace Valley put her cannons.
Back up on the street, we find the Clare Island Museum in its opening celebration and are invited to join the festivities. There are old Irish pounds with pictures of independence leaders like De Valera and O'Connell. Old articles on the potato famine, citing Samuel O'Malley as the subject of the article. When I tell the ladies at the museum that we are O'Malleys and we're searching for our roots, they jump right in. They find out who the top of our tree is and begin to relate it to people right here on Clare Island, pointing out old pictures of our relatives on the wall here.
Joe Edwards, Michael McCabe.
And then they make a revelation that makes this whole visit well worth it. Grace O'Malley is actually buried here on Clare Island. So we summon the island's only taxi and head to church.
This is an incredibly remote and rural island. We seem to be about as far away from modern civilization in Ireland as we can get. Even if you're not hunting down ancestors, Clare Island is a great place to go to truly get off the beaten path. There's only about 100 people living here, and since tourism is not a year-round draw, you're sure to get an authentic feel for traditional Irish life. Up at the graveyard, there's lots of O'Malley headstones offering Carrie plenty of research material. But the chapel where Grace O'Malley lays is locked. So I think it's time to think like an Irishman. We walk down the road a bit to ask around. Someone directs us to the O'Malley market to look for the key, and they tell us to try the house next door. An old Irish fisherman pops his head out and gives us the key, and we're on our way back to the church.
Inside the Clare Island Abbey, hundreds of years old paintings grace the ceilings in an art form reminiscent of cave painting. It is said to be one of the best preserved medieval roof paintings in all of Europe. The abbey is simple with tall vaulted ceilings, narrow windows, and there along the wall, a small grave outlined in carved wood. Could it be? Above it on the wall, right there, carved in stone, is our answer.
This is O'Malley crest.
This is the O'Malley crest. It says O'Malley right there, and this is Grace's tomb. The grave of my great 8 times over grandmother, right here in a tiny little church on a tiny little island on the deserted coast of Ireland. In the bay she guarded and ruled so fiercely in a time when women weren't allowed to be fierce. I hope that her passion and fire will be passed along the O'Malley family tree to my boys and on to their children. Back outside, I take a few notes on the gravestones before heading back to town, where we await our return ferry in, you guessed it, another O'Malley castle. This one is known as Grace O'Malley's Castle, and it's where she spent a large portion of her life.
Wow, guys! Look up there, there's rooms.
I know. There's 2 stairs. Except you can't go up them.
And as I sit here watching my kids play O'Malley Pirates,
We found your hideout. And you
forgot
set
to-
trap, right?
I realize how much the Irish luck has been with us on our journey here. Or maybe it's Grace urging us on, as we discovered one O'Malley after another, our B&B owners, the Westport House family tree, and the residents right here on Clare Island. And I wonder about cousins my age that grew up here in this coast across the ocean from me, and how our lives are different, and yet the same. And I'm glad that my kids got to experience some of the history and culture from my family's past right here in Ireland.
Thanks for joining us in this edition of Travel with Kids Ireland.